So, as soon as we get Reverend Kate, we're going to... Yeah. Come on down, everybody.
I said, oh, we have to start on time.
Yeah, we have to start on time. Or not. So let's just get comfortable while I do an opening prayer treatment. Let's get comfortable wherever you are and kind of wiggle a little bit, relax, leave all of your concerns outside the back door. Just be with me here in this moment, in this consciousness, and know with me that there is only one spirit in this room. And the I of whom I speak is you. And I say, I am one with that spirit. There's only one life. That's God's life. That's my life, right here and right now. There's never been any separation, never will be, never can be. It's all God. It's all good. So I know that there is this one life, this one power, all-knowing, everywhere present, this creative force in the universe, and I can use it. And I say, yes, I accept it now. And I affirm and I declare my good. I declare that I am prosperous. I have money to share and money to spare. I declare that I am healthy. My body is healed and whole. I am mobile. I am moving with music. I am healed in every center and cell and organ of my body is filled with vibrant life and light. I am so healthy. And I know and I declare and I affirm that I am creative and I use my word to create good in my life. And I am love. I am love expressing. I am lovable and I am loving. I deserve love. I give love and I receive love. So for all this, I give great gratitude. Because I know that as I spoke my word and I speak my word, it is already acted upon in the mind of God. Again, I give gratitude. I know today unfolds in perfect and divine order. And there's good for me, and I ask and receive now. So I release that word. I know it is so, and together we say, and so it is. And today I want to just, yeah, hi. Billy, come on in. I want to announce our musicians for today.
Yay.
Yes. Andrea, Lane, and Billy.
Yes. How we doing? Great. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. I'm feeling good down in my soul now. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. I'm feeling good down in my soul now. God is so good. My God is so good to me.
I'm Reverend Maureen Bishop. I think you all know me, but it's my pleasure to welcome you this morning to Carlsbad Center for Spiritual Living. And what we believe, there's one power for good in the universe. We can use it, and where we come together to teach, demonstrate, and inspire a positive spiritual approach to living, to our lives. So right now is candle lighting. Well, Pat isn't here. Would somebody like to do the candle lighting? Morgan. Morgan. Go for it. Okay, so the first candle we light is a candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us, and every little cell in your body. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life, right here. So say with me, I am life.
I am life.
We light a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and in our lives. We are transformed. I'm a point of love within the heart of God. So please say with me, I am love. Next, we light a candle for light. The light of God is the presence and the power. We're always walking in the light. I radiate the light of God wherever I am. So please say with me, I am light. Next, we light a candle for beauty. We are made in the likeness and image of God. We are each whole, complete, and beautiful just as we are. I accept the beauty of God's perfection as my perfection now. Please say with me, I am beauty. Perfection too. We light the candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We celebrate the joy of our own rebirth in the God consciousness. I bring joy to the world, so please say with me, I am joy. We light the candle for peace. Today and every day we open our hearts to peace. I am a center of peace in our world, so please say with me, I am peace. And finally, thank you, Morgan, I invite each of you to take a moment to recognize your own inner light that is always shining within as we honor our own metaphysical path to wholeness, to oneness, and to mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you. Thank you, Morgan. So, announcements. There's some, let's see, today, as you may know, you may have seen out there the birthday cake. Do we have any birthdays for May? Oh, Conrad. Can we play happy birthday?
No. And we can sing it. We can sing it. Ruth Ann, because she wasn't here on her birthday. It was April, so on her day.
All right.
It's the last month.
I know the Beatles version.
Oh, sing it.
You want to sing it?
No.
Oh, okay.
We can sing it without music.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Conrad and Rose. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
So I want to give special thanks to our prayer team members. You may not know, but when you do a prayer request, we send it out to several practitioners and ministers, like Anyway, we have a list. Benet, you may remember Benet, and Larry, and Robert, and Kate, and myself, and Reverend Maddie, and Reverend Lori. So I just want to thank them. Thank everyone who is part of our prayer team members. And the spiritual mind treatment forms are out there on the table. This is our gift to you on Sundays. If you need a treatment today, we have the hands of the practitioners and ministers who are here. They're available for you. Thank you. And I just wanted to mention that we've been doing a class on spiritual practices and principles. We will meet again on the 21st. And we are doing spiritual mind treatment, which is so perfect because Kate is going to be talking about spiritual mind treatment today. We have, in the class, we set some intentions, and we did affirmations, and then we're practicing our spiritual mind treatments. Also, you'll be receiving in the mail, if you filled one out at the beginning of the year, we all set our intentions and we put them in cards, and they'll be coming in the mail to you. So if you've forgotten, all the more fun when you open it up. So, excuse me, I'd like to say thank you for the volunteers. Today, Verla, look at these flowers. Thank you. And we had several greeters today. So we had Ruth Ann, you were greeting, Robert, you were greeting. So thank you. And treats, thank you to Ruth Ann for the cake. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you to the video recording, Larry. And thanks to Jan, and thanks to Angel for setting up. And if you don't already have the book, we do have 2 copies of it left. This thing called You. It's a nice little, I call it like an owner's manual. Good book. Okay. We have our group reading at this time. So if you want to pull out your program, and we'll read this together. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect oneness. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. So it is. All right, you want to stand for our group song? Andrea and Billy.
Thank you.
Stand.
Thank you, Reverend Maureen. We're doing this little light of mine. I don't think the lyrics are in there, but you guys know this one.
Thank you for the wonderful music. And at this time, I'd like to call Nancy up for the reading. Our inspirational reading today.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Today's reading is from the Living Consciously blog by Reverend Dr. Carol Carnes. Of all the provocative statements made by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the one that set me on fire was, God makes everything out of itself by becoming the thing it makes. And I'm going to read that again because the first time I read it was like, what? Okay. God makes everything out of itself by becoming the thing that it makes. That was when I realized there is a decidedly science aspect to spirituality. I then saw God, not as a human figure, but as all sentient life. God became a force, a power, a universal intelligence embedded in all living forms. It is in the daffodil to the same degree as it is in you and me, in exactly the right portion to be the revealed idea. What is the idea of humans if not to express the qualities we attribute to God? It is our boundless nature, that core of intelligence that is always greater than what we do with it. This realization is such a shift from how we were taught to think of God, that it can make a lifetime of study and reflection to grasp the real meaning. It scares us to think that we are not the children of a father, but we are the co-creators of our life. We don't know how to implement this kind of power. Then Dr. Holmes told us how. He said to straighten out our thinking by self-talk. He called it spiritual mind treatment, and it replaces old-time prayer, which is a petition to an outer power. I begin my treatments with a statement like this: God is everywhere present, all of it, all the time, all at once. I am reminding myself of the ever-new life becoming that I am. It lives and moves as this life I am living. It does not judge what I do with it. It cannot. It is presence and principle acting in the same manner for all beings. It responds by co-responding. This is life-changing information. It turns out that new thought is not merely a technique for manifesting things. That is the carrot that keeps us engaged. It's the deeper truth that the mystics have ecstatically tried to share with us. God is not a thing or man. God is the power that makes all things new, and it is being you and me. And so it is.
What a beautiful reading. This time, God is using me. This time, I am trusting more. And I'm surrounded by 1,000 angels. Can I not see all of this beauty? I'm surrounded by 1,000 angels. And can I not see all of this love? I just trust. This time I am open to love. Oh, this time I am free falling. surrounded by 1,000 angels. And can I not see all of this beauty? I am surrounded by 1,000 angels. Can I not feel all of this love? I just trust, and it's getting easier, yeah. I'm stepping out on the skinny branch, and it's getting easier, yeah. I'm stepping out on faith, just trust. Will you trust? Will you trust? Just trust.
Thank you, Andrew, Wayne, and Billy. And now, after a brief, a month being gone, we really are excited to see you again. Can you just give a round of applause?
It's really good to be here. I can't say how much I missed everyone, and it was great though, because thank you, Larry, for recording the talks, because I was able to watch on YouTube, and it was great. You know, it made me feel so happy to be able to do that. So I know that this talk is being recorded, and but it was good because, you know, I have usually great attendance, so I don't really have to look at YouTube. I really appreciated it, and I appreciate how everyone carried on. So it's wonderful to be here amongst friends. So April was a big month, you know. You had guest speakers. Reverend Lori came for Easter, and Practitioner Robert shared his spiritual journey, and Reverend Maureen was so good that she taught 2 classes and gave 3 talks, you know, while I was just kind of like lazing around. It's wonderful to have a team, to have a group, and to be part of it. So I'm really grateful to everyone who keeps everything going. You know, it's a community, and it's a wonderful community. Now, I know that the last time I was here, we were working on the whole idea of science and religion going hand in hand, and now I've come back and we're working on the whole idea of spiritual principles and practices. And today, the name of my talk is Treatment Works. And I'm not just going to try to convince you that treatment works, but I hope that everyone actually has a worksheet, because we're really going to get into the nuts and bolts of treatment. And I recognize that there are a lot of people here today who already know so much about treatment, who have been doing it and incorporating it into your lives. However, I also know that although I do treatment on a regular basis and have been doing it now for a very long time, I still learn more. not just because I read more about it or talk to people about it, and that helps, but also because every time I do a treatment, I get a little more insight into just how powerful it is. So it's like anything else, the more you practice it, the more you really incorporate it and get a feel for it. So today, my goal is to kind of teach it on all levels, talk about treatment in a way that I hope will be clear enough for someone that it's kind of new to. But I also want to invite those of you who are regular at your practice of treatment. I want you to feel free to think about the things that I say and come up with any questions that you have. So I've got my phone here, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep it brief enough so we can have some questions and answers at the end. And so I'll take any questions, whether I know the answers or not. So keep that in mind. And that's the other thing you can do on your worksheet. You don't necessarily have to use this for treatment. If you want to jot down any questions, please do that. So I noticed that when Robert spoke, he actually mentioned, when he was talking about his spiritual journey, he mentioned a saying by Thomas Troward, who was one of the people who influenced our own Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching. And Thomas Troward said, "The past is not precedent. The past does not determine the future. It maybe brought us to where we are today, but it doesn't determine everything that's going to come next." Of course, yes, we live in a world of consequences. So there may be consequences that follow along in our lives, but it's our thinking and our thoughts and our intentions that actually create and determine what direction our life is going to go towards. Now, what I love about Ernest Holmes is that he was able to study so many of what I call New Thought pioneers, American transcendentalists, Greek philosophers, different religions. He was quite well read, and somehow he just had the depth of understanding, and I think this is because of his own spiritual practice, that he was able to pull it all together. And even though you might look at the Science of Mind textbook and say, "Oh, that's rather thick," still, if you pick up the book that Marie was talking about, this thing called You, it's not thick, and it really goes through the whole basic ideas of our teaching. Anyway, he was able to assemble it in a way that allows, I think, anyone to learn how to use the science of mind to improve their lives. Now, today, maybe not so, I don't think it was so much this way in the early 1900s. When he had his radio show, a lot of his ideas were new to his audience. Whereas today, many people, even a lot of what I call traditional Christians, use affirmation, teach the power of positive thinking. A lot of people take mindfulness classes and meditation and yoga. You know, I remember when I lived in Wisconsin, the school district got so upset because someone wanted to teach yoga in one of the schoolrooms. I was like, "Oh, that's not Christian." It was, you know, and now, of course, here in our San Diego County, yoga is like everywhere. It's like, yes, a wonderful, beneficial practice, whether you just do a simple breathing exercise or whether you're actually very involved in it. So these ideas that were kind of brand new when our teaching was beginning, a lot of them have radiated out and connected with other similar ideas. There's been kind of a worldwide link up, and while we may think that you know, there's a lot of stuff we don't like going on in the world, we have to stop and recognize there's also some really great stuff going on in the world. But one of the things that I wish would get picked up on more is the idea of treatment. So, you know, when we're talking casually, we often refer to it as affirmative prayer. But spiritual mind treatment, as taught by Ernest Holmes, is not exactly prayer. Because the idea of prayer, it's just a generic term, but usually when someone thinks about doing a prayer, they think about asking for something which would be then granted by a divine being who apparently can say yes or no. And that is not what spiritual mind treatment is about. You know, as Nancy read, we believe that God is not this outside being, that God is everything, creates everything by becoming it itself. And that means we, each of us, are one with this creative spirit, because there's nothing else. There's no devil or anything in opposition. There's just God, and we, for some amazing reason, we're free to think, to decide, and to every single moment start over again. It's really amazing. So treatment, spiritual mind treatment, is a very methodical and teachable, learnable way in which to use this ability to actually change our thinking and change our lives. It's really important. Now, I know that last week Reverend Maureen talked about the power of intention. And hopefully you all have a little worksheet that I made for you today. And it goes through the steps of treatment. Now, we teach 5 steps of treatment, but before you begin with these 5 steps of treatment, the first thing to do is to decide what is the purpose of your treatment, to set an intention. If you missed her talk, I recommend watching it on YouTube. I thought it was very inspiring. So when you set an intention, you're deciding what you want, what the purpose is, what you would like to see. How do we develop our intentions? Well, you could do it. Maybe you're meditating and you suddenly have an inspiration. Maybe you are sitting on a mountaintop and you suddenly have an inspiration. Or maybe you just got a kick in the pants because you got sick, or you hurt your leg, or you ended up in the hospital, or you had some kind of a struggle. And while Ernest Holmes stated, humanity has suffered enough, we don't need to learn from suffering. The fact is, if we're suffering, let's learn from it, right? So a lot of times, we're experiencing something that we don't want, then it can help us to see what we do want. And that, what we do want, can then become our intention. So once you know your purpose, and it could be very simple or it could be, you know, complicated, whatever your purpose is. The thing is, it's good if it can be specific. So if I treat for peace and prosperity for humanity, that's fine, it's very general. If I treat for the highest good for my next door neighbor and their children, that's fine, it's simple. But when I'm talking about something for myself, I know myself well, I know what I want, I need to be specific. I don't just treat for a good life for myself. I treat for specific let's say results or experiences or manifestations or a change in viewpoint. So we do want it to be specific. Now, if you look here, we have 5 steps of treatment. The reason why it's 5 steps of treatment, I believe personally, is because we have 5 fingers. You can do it. You know, you can count them off on your hand and you're done. You can go through it. So I have, you know, when I first started learning treatment, I was taught the 7 steps of treatment. And earlier than that, people were taught the 9 steps of treatment, and other people were taught 3 steps of treatment. 5 is good. I like 5. We teach 5. It's kind of like learning your ABCs. Once you learn your ABCs, you can read anything, right? Once you learn the 5 steps of treatment, it becomes kind of in the background. You're not really thinking about, oh, I'm on step 2, I'm on step 3. But you can, if you want to, at any time. So I think it's good to just do that, go through the 5 steps. I know when I first moved into treating in public, in front of an audience, I was like back to my fingers counting where I was, because I felt a little nervous about trying to be a role model and not skip around. So once you know the purpose of your treatment, and I do want to remind you, I always do it in a positive way. So the purpose of my treatment is never going to be to not experience something. So, okay. So I'm not going to have, the purpose of my treatment is that I don't get car sick when I drive to Julian. Instead, it's going to be that the purpose of my trip is that I'm going to have a wonderful trip to Julian, right? I always focus on the positive. It's, if you're thinking about the negative, it keeps coming up for you. So figure out how to frame your purpose in a positive way. And that's really the idea that we're doing with our willpower. It's the only thing we do on our willpower, really, is to just focus on what it is we want and let go of what it is that we don't want. Because treatment is not a matter of willpower. Treatment is a matter of changing our minds. So the first step in treatment is recognition. We recognize and remind ourselves of the truth that spirit is all there is. We just center ourselves into remembering that we live in a spiritual universe. It's important because this is setting us up for the ability to do a powerful treatment. Now, this morning, Reverend Maureen stood up. She did step 1 of treatment, no problem. Sometimes you might be busy, you might have a hectic day, you might not be feeling that great. And so I would suggest just maybe spending a couple of minutes in silence or in meditation or listening to a little music so you can calm your mind and get to a mental space where indeed you do remember that spirit is all there is. Then the second step is to identify yourself with that truth. It's simple. If spirit is all there is, then of course I am made of spirit. I am one with spirit. There's nothing else, and here I am. I am one with it. That's recognition, or the recognition that you are part of spirit. We call this identification or even unification. Declare and understand that you are one with the creative power of spirit itself. Now, Ernest Holmes, I love the way he managed to combine steps 1 and 2. He would often say, there is one mind, that mind is God's mind, that mind is my mind now. 15 words in steps 1 and 2 are done. And sometimes I'm like there, and other times I'll like spend a little more time. It doesn't matter. Then that brings us to step 3. Step 3 is really the heart of what we're treating about. This is when we actually change our thinking. Now, last night, I did a treatment for this morning's service. No, I simply, I went through steps 1, 2. Step 3 was, I know that Sunday morning service is going to be fun, enjoyable, inspirational. It's going to be wonderful. That was it. That's all I had to do, because I believed it. Because every time I'm here, it's the truth. I've been here many times, and every single time it's been the truth. And I was looking forward to it, so I didn't really have any objections. I didn't have any doubts or apprehensions to deal with. I was just focusing my attention on my intention, right? You're focusing your attention on your intention. It's very simple, it's straightforward, and we call it realization treatment. It's very easy. Now, sometimes you are going to want to do a treatment for something that's not so straightforward. For instance, I think a lot of you know that at the beginning of April, I was scheduled to have cataract surgery. And I wanted to do it, but on the other hand, I was nervous about it, because I don't like, I don't like the whole idea of surgery, and I never like people touching my eyes, or, so I was a little apprehensive. So now in this case, when I did a treatment, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have a great surgery. I know it. It was more like I had to think about what was blocking me from believing that this was going to be a perfect outcome. What was my fear? And so we call this the argumentative method of treatment. It's really going through logic and convincing yourself. You're actually changing your mind, just like getting new information. Like if I had an opinion and I got new information and I changed my mind. So you're working within your own mind, with your own belief framework, learning, attempting, and doing this, changing your thinking. So in my case, I reminded myself that my surgeon was very experienced. I reminded myself that I trusted him. I reminded myself that he is part of the same divine mind that I am. I thought about my eyes, and I focused and thought about the gratefulness I feel for how my eyes have served me for my whole life. And so I allowed that feeling of gratefulness to well up in me. A feeling of love and positivity began to overcome the feeling of fear and doubt. I reminded myself that I am an eternal spiritual being. I'm not only a physical being. I have a physical body, but it's not really who I am completely. I am more than my physical body. And I reminded myself that even if I were to lose a part of my physical body, in this case just a lens, but maybe part of my fear was that in past surgery I lost more than an eye lens, But even if I lose a little part of my physical body, it's not me. I haven't lost a part of me. The lens in my eye belongs to the physical world. And so I was able to think that I could be quite content and satisfied with a new lens that was made, I guess in a factory somewhere, replacing the lens that had been made in my mother's womb. That both would be instruments. And in fact, I was able to realize that probably, since I had never had great vision, that I would even see better than ever. And as I recognized that, I began to feel excited and optimistic and enthusiastic about the fact that I was going to be able to do this and that I was going to be able to see more clearly through this process of logical thinking. What I was doing is, item by item, I was dissolving feelings of doubt, dissipating objections, overcoming them, bringing them into the light, examining them, and basically discarding them, allowing the truth that this was going to be something good, which I knew intellectually was true, right? I didn't have any doubt. I mean, scientifically speaking, it's one of the safest procedures that you can have. It's been done for decades. It's really, you know, but that, I needed to realize that for myself. And so as I shifted my thought, as I shifted my feeling, I moved into a feeling of gratitude and joy, and moved into what we call a state of cheerful expectation. I shifted my thoughts. So treatment, what we call spiritual mind treatment, actually takes place within the person doing the treatment. So if I did a treatment for Andrea, I wouldn't be doing anything to her. The whole treatment would take place within myself. I am one with spirit. My thoughts, my change in thinking takes place within myself. And yes, it does go out into the world, and it creates a new pathway. And whoever I'm treating for, if they had asked me for a treatment, can accept that new thought, or can be supported by that new thought according to their level of acceptance. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to describe what it is we're doing when we work with step 3, which is really the heart of changing our thinking. It can be easy, but if it's not easy, we keep at it. And if we don't get it the first time, we can do it again the next day. That's okay. But what we don't do is we don't struggle with it day after day after day, because what we're trying to do is realize it. And the other thing, of course, we can do is we can get prayer support or treatment support from other people. We can ask them to treat for us. So some treatments are manifested quickly, right? I did a treatment last night for a church service today, and here we are, and it's lovely. I did a treatment over a month ago, month and a half ago, for my perfect vision. And so obviously there were things that had to happen. I had to actually go into the doctor's office, get it done, follow instructions. But still, it's manifested perfectly. You know, now I have officially 20/20 vision that I've never had in my entire life. So I'm really happy. You know, the outcome is good. So some treatments are manifested quickly and others take more time, but it's up to hold fast to our understanding. So let's move on to step 4. Step 4 is called acceptance or gratitude. We're just saying thank you. When we say thank you, we're incorporating, we're admitting that we have it. I'm not saying thank you for something I don't have, don't believe. I'm saying thank you because I recognize it's mine now. So this step of gratitude is short, but it's very important. You know, if you read about the healings of Jesus, he generally said, thank you, as part of the healing process. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. The mystic Meister Eckhart said, if we only have one prayer, let it be thank you. And treatment shows our acceptance of the manifestation of whatever was the purpose of our treatment. Whether we have it in the physical world of experience yet or not. See, treatment is all about changing our thinking, and then we allow it to unfold. We're setting a new direction. So step 5 then is also important and easy. We call it the release. We're just letting go. Our role is to do the treatment. Our responsibility is to do the treatment. Our responsibility is to get our mind straight, our thinking straight, shift our thinking from the old to the new point of view. That's it. Then we turn it over to Spirit. Spirit says yes. Spirit creates. We set the direction. So when we release our treatment, and you know we do that at the end of every treatment, when we say, and so it is, we're releasing it, or turning our words and our thoughts over to Spirit in faith, knowing, believing, and accepting it's already done on a spiritual level. Just like a gardener planting a seed in the soil. If I plant a carrot, I don't have to stand there for 2 weeks and wait for that seed to sprout. I trust it is ready to sprout, that it will germinate and sprout. Maybe I have to water it. That's fine. Maybe there are things that you need to do to follow up in your treatment, and those will become clear to you as your treatment out pictures. You will maybe know, oh, I need to call so-and-so or do this or that. Maybe it doesn't require action on your part. We're not supervising Spirit. We're not outlining a plan. Spirit, I want you to do A, B, C, D, and then I'll get to, Z, and I'll be happy ever after. No. We set a new direction with our thought. We release, let it go, and so it is. At this point, in follow-up, you might want to think of an affirmation. So if you then begin to doubt, you did a treatment, you felt really good about it, the next day you wake up, in my case, I don't like putting all these eye drops in and having a patch on my eye, blah, blah, blah. I just know I can remind myself with a simple affirmation how wonderful my vision is. That's it. So affirmation can be a real backup. So now I'm going to ask, are there any questions? Do you have any questions? I know I said a lot. Does anyone have any questions? We can talk about it later. You're looking at the clock, it doesn't work. So I don't know, the battery's dead or something, but if you have 1 or 2 questions, we can. Well, I'll tell you what, I know a lot of you are in the class, and in 2 weeks on Potluck Sunday, after our potluck, we'll have a class, and so bring your questions then, we can talk about them, or if you want to ask me any questions during fellowship, if anything comes up. Because I know from my own experience, there are these little nuances and questions that do pop up. So in closing, I just want to read something that Ernest Holmes wrote about treatment. He said, treatment is the art, the act, and the science of consciously inducing or making it happen, making thought happen in what he calls the universal subjectivity or the creative mind of Spirit for the purpose of demonstrating this truth, that we are surrounded by a creative medium, and it does respond to us through what he called the law of correspondence. It acts like a mirror to our thoughts. Treatment, spiritual mind treatment, is simply the time, process, and method necessary to the changing of our thought in a very deep and powerful way. And believe me, it does get results. You know, there's that saying, it works if you work it. And when it comes to treatment, it is really true. And so it is. Thank you. Let's go look at you.
Thank you, that was inspiring. And welcome back. It's a new song.
Just released. When did you release it?
I released it on Friday, the full moon, flower full moon.
There you go.
What you gonna do with your potential? What you gonna do with your dreams? God has given you everything, now what? What you gonna do with your dreams? If you don't know, you gotta pray until you know. Realize, hey, ooh, ooh, ooh. How can I benefit another? I set a brother free, we're all one. I'm reading on the Untitled, so you know I really didn't know its power. How can I be the best me if I don't know? I gotta pray until I know. Realize, hey, if I don't know, I gotta pray until I know. I gotta recognize it, right? Now that we're already coming together, we can make a change, we can save the earth. I'm living on a dream and a prayer and a really deep breath, oh yeah. Now that we're already coming together, hey, if we don't know, gotta pray until we know. Realize, hey, if I don't know, I gotta pray until I know. And I am grateful for it. Ooh. If I don't know, I gotta pray until I know. Realize, hey, if I don't know, I gotta pray until I know. I gotta recognize it.
That was really great. This is a new song. Wonderful that you wrote it.
topic.
Yeah, it's perfect. I know. It's just, it's, we really are. I mean, this is a room full of creative geniuses, and I just know, I mean, beautiful flowers, beautiful song. Everything is so nice today. So right now it's time for our moment of conscious giving, and I think everyone knows that. And you can give here, you can give by Venmo, you can do PayPal, you can, no, any way you want. We say yes. We say yes, and we say thank you, because I know the truth right now that everything in life is in circulation, from our breath in and out, to our greetings to each other and our circle of fellowship, to the way in which we spend money and receive money. It's all circulation, it's all good, and I know that as we share our good, our time, treasure, and talent with each other, as this center is prospered, so each of us is prospered in our lives. So I give thanks for all this good, and I invite you now, if you would look in your program, and I think Andrea will lead us in our little song. I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. Again, we're good. Thank you. We have to get to that cake. That cake is waiting for us. So, if you're ready, I'll do a closing treatment, and then we'll all rise and sing our song, which is on the back of the program. And let's see if I can follow the 5 steps of treatment. So before I begin, I'm going to tell you what my intention is. My intention is the good that we share today and in fellowship goes with us out the door and spreads out into the world. That is my intention for this treatment, for each and every one of us. So the first step is I believe that this is a spiritual universe, that God is all there is, that everything is spirit in the state of becoming, of beingness. And second, I recognize that I too am one with this expansive, creative universe. I am made out of the very substance of spirit itself, and my life is an individuation of spirit, and I love it. I give thanks for it. I know it is so. And 3, I declare, and I know that each and every person here today is blessed by this gathering, this being together and celebrating the truth that there is good for us, that we ought to have it, that as we have it, as we embrace it, we are able to bring the harvest into our lives and have something wonderful manifest in our lives that enables us to share more and more good with our friends, our family, our neighbors, our community, our country, this world itself. There is good, not just for us, but there is good for all. And we center ourselves in this good, and we accept this good. I accept this good on behalf of each person here today, and I know that there is nothing blocking this good. There is good, and I accept it right now. 4, I know that I am grateful because I know the truth that this treatment is doing nothing but recognizing the truth that is pre-existent, that there is good for us. I accept it, I am grateful for it, it's already done. And so 5, I release this treatment, my word, to the mind of spirit itself, universal creative mind, knowing that Spirit always says yes. So I let go, and I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is. Thank you, everybody, and let's all stand up. Or stand up if you want to stand up.
Stand up if you want to stand up.
Open your heart, let your love come free, out of the ocean, right across the sea. Let it flow like a river, let it fly like a dove. Say your heart remembers, can't stop love. Once you get it started, what you have done is go full circle. You can't stop love. Open your heart, let your love go free, out over the ocean, right across the street. Let it flow like a river, let it fly like a dove. So your heart remembers, you can't stop love.
Once you started, what was done,
You go full circle.
you can't stop love.